welcome to Gloryhound and the Uninvited Gamers. I'm your host, Gloryhound, and tonight's Uninvited Gamers are...
Dr. Gloryhog.
Greg Dixon.
Yeah, I'm going to have to start doing more cool stuff with my name. Damn, guys. And we're down here today at our beautiful Games U in Gilbert, Arizona. They are playing something crazy back there, so I'm sure it's really loud. So hopefully...
Lots of tournaments here, but that's good stuff.
Yeah, this shop is hopping, man.
It is hopping today, for real.
Alive, and
that's
you gotta
right.
love
tournaments are great.
Stores.
I wish I could play more
yes,
tournaments.
I love open game stores.
So before we started recording, Dr. Gloryhog was talking about his poll.
Yes.
And I would like to recap on that. So
he went on and on about his poll.
Right, and how, he
gotta talk about my poll.
He wanted to show everybody what it was all about.
I spent all week working on this poll.
That's right.
I did a Twitter poll. This is out of control.
Right.
I'm specifically told not to whip out my poll in polite society.
You don't, because you don't do that unless somebody asks you for that.
I was surprised you posted your poll on Twitter.
Well,
I mean, that's pretty public.
I think that's standard as far as some people do things
you guys all right?
anymore.
I'm sorry. These two have never heard the word poll before, so they're just very...
Oh, you just said poll, dude.
You guys are you guys gonna be okay?
Okay, so what happened with this poll? Let us know.
The Twitter poll was about Nyctophobia, which is a new game that we're going to talk about.
Okay.
Basically, there's two different versions of this game. There's a Target exclusive.
Oh, no, wait. You don't want to do this. This is bad. This is bad, guys. This is okay.
Wait,
in England, this is like...
Oh, really?
That's not
She'll
good.
let us know when she's done.
I'll remember that because I ever run across Margaret Thatcher.
Fine. Yeah, sorry.
All right,
sorry.
go ahead,
Dr. Lauren. I apologize.
So in Nyctophobia, there's two versions.
I'm not mad. I'm tired.
He's just disappointed.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
I'm just tired of being here. I'm out.
I are disappointed.
Okay.
I've been saying it for years. I'm looking forward to the marriage podcast you guys are going to do, where you give all kinds of advice on how to keep it fresh.
Where she asked me not to overtalk her on the podcast, and then she immediately does it to me. Not a problem.
Yeah, no, I will subscribe and like that podcast.
So are you ready? Here's my 2 secrets to a healthy marriage. 1, never share a bathroom. Have 2 bathrooms. I don't care if you have to buy a bigger house.
This is a true story.
Her makeup's in her bathroom. My poop's my bathroom. Everyone's happy. 2, always have extra bed sheets so that you're not fighting over one stupid sheet. So when it gets cold out, you can roll up in your own sheet and not have to have somebody steal it.
I can't handle your sheet. I need my own.
We got 2 dogs up in there already.
She's sick of your sheet.
I know.
She's sick of your sheet.
So we'll share a sheet.
I need my own sheet,
But in the middle of the night, whenever you roll over and you're like, I'm cold, you've got another one you can just pull over you.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
you guys really should do a podcast.
This is a real thing.
This is good stuff.
Tips and tricks by Dr.
The third secret thing is that she will
Gloryhound.
give you guidelines, but she will not follow said guidelines herself.
That's a true story. I'm a free spirit, guys, okay?
Free spirit.
She does what she wants.
That is true.
It's kind of like a cat,
Yeah, you have to really lure her in. You can't just call her. She won't come when you call her.
We got some tuna over here. You just ruined it. Somebody else walked by. Dang it.
I have some catnip in my pocket.
She's not
Well,
easy
let's talk
to
about
woo.
that Twitter poll since we're talking about things in your pocket.
Back to his poll.
Yeah. All right.
So the Twitter poll is about Nyctophobia, which has 2 different versions. There's the Target exclusive version, which has the vampire. It's a vampire encounter.
Vampire.
So you're playing against...
Not the sparkly one.
So one player is going to play as the vampire, and then everybody else plays as people that are being hunted. The other version, which was at Gen Con and will be released at your local game stores, Amazon, whatnot, has 2 encounters in it. It has the mage...
Wait.
See, she doesn't follow her own advice.
I apologize. Go ahead.
She's still back at it.
She's pissing off all the Europeans.
Yeah, she is.
It's 2. I'm just highlighting your 2. Go ahead. I haven't even talked.
There's the mage.
She's highlighting your 2.
There is number 2. She's highlighting.
It's been way too much number 2 talk on this podcast already.
We good?
It's not me. It's not me. Why are you looking at me about it?
All right. Here, go ahead.
There's the mage encounter and there's the hunter encounter. The hunter encounter has a special ability to knock down trees to get to the players.
Okay.
If I understand it correctly, and then which I have not played the Gen Con version, and the mage can actually take the whole board and flip it.
Oh, that's
this
cool.
is a game that you play with blackout glasses, so you're 100% already don't know where you are. So by rotating the board, it's just completely throwing you off. You have no idea where you are. Where the vampire controls a thrall, and kind of can move it around and kind of manipulate the board through like hypnotic stares and do various different things while chasing you down. So they all play very uniquely.
What was your Twitter poll about?
The poll was which version you're going to get. Are you going to get none, both, or target or the other? And actually, people leaned towards the target version. The vampire version seemed to win out.
I wonder if they lean toward the vampire version just because that's the one that they can get right now.
That definitely might be it, because the Gen Con version's not out in wide release yet.
Does the vampire version have only one villain, but the other version has two?
Has two different villains.
Seems like an obvious choice.
Yeah,
you
but
want the one with two villains.
But
I mean, you want all three.
There's definitely something that lets you, like, there's something about getting it right now, right? That's the whole point of having a local game store.
But I don't think it's that long
of a wait. Is there a price
wait.
difference between the two?
I don't believe so.
Oh, that's a good question, actually.
Because if you're getting like a $30 one in Target and versus like a $40 one with an extra villain, that's totally different. But I don't know if there's a
I don't know if there is a price difference. I was kind of surprised by the poll also, but
you were surprised by your own poll?
Yeah.
Every time. It's just like, is it getting bigger?
There's more and more people involved with my poll.
I think this is one of those things that if you have a good gaming group, like, you might get one version while somebody else gets the other version, so you guys can cross play.
Right.
But I might actually get both. I actually really enjoyed this game.
Okay. Well, since we're talking about Nyctophobia, we might as well just go through.
Nyctophobia
is by Pandasaurus.
Let's see what's in the box.
Yeah, let's see it.
So this is
by Pandasaurus Games.
This is a Target version.
It's for ages 9+.
Because I didn't want to wait. I got it early. I wanted to get it before Gen Con.
You guys are doing a good job of not talking over each other.
That's what I know. Well, I try.
Well done. Another couple of years at this, you guys are really going to get it down.
3 to 5 players.
Please spend 3 to 4 minutes watching me open this box.
It's for 30 to 45 minutes. And it's by a lady named Catherine Stipple.
So while you're playing with the box here, I like the backstory because she's a young designer. Cool. She was a teenager.
Yeah. She designed this because of her uncle who plays board games, he's sight impaired, and so instead of she always spends most of her time describing the game so that he can play.
I thought I was going to explain it while
you need to unbox.
But I feel like I know more about this. I like how
you guys are just like not over talking each other anymore. So it's really good.
But she designed it as a game. She said, well, if he can play all these games sight impaired, like what would it be like to play a game where everyone is sight impaired?
Oh, do I get to put on the glasses?
And why is it you feel you know more about this than me?
Because I've actually played it more than you.
Have you? How many times have you played it?
Let me put on the glasses. Let me put on the glasses. Just let me.
Have you played the other version?
Have you?
I have.
That's
have
right,
you really?
Yeah, I played it at Gamma.
Oh, did you really? Okay.
We did a whole segment on Hooked on Geek about this game. And
is that a new podcast? I've never heard of it.
It is a new podcast. Just came out in January.
I'm not gonna be able to get this on.
New episodes every Monday. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook.
So the big thing about these glasses is the fact that I can see myself in them, like when I have them on.
But you can't see anything else.
I can't see anything, but it's weird staring at myself through these.
A lot of people put them on and then just close their eyes.
I would, because this is maddening. I'm like a Cyclops in here right now.
But
like, if you're somebody like me who wants to stare at themselves,
scary red-haired Cyclops.
Oh yeah, this is built for you.
Yeah, no, I love it. Just looking at myself constantly, it's great.
So
and then
beautiful.
With the stigmatism, I'm a little bit fuzzy, so it's like low def, so I look better.
Yeah.
There's no imperfections or blemishes,
right? Yeah, you don't need high def. You're not built for high def.
Human beings are not built for high def. Let's be real. So the game is a very simple concept. Everybody else is going to shut their eyes by wearing these glasses, right? Basically making them sight impaired. While the person who's playing the villain sets it up with these little pieces. These little pieces interlock into the board so that you can build your own custom map every single time. And they're trying to search out one space at a time, looking for the thrall or whatever the objective is, while the vampire or whoever the bad guy is tries to get close to them and make them accidentally touch them. So this reminds me of it playing like hide and go seek in the dark.
Oh, they're little trees.
Yeah.
Okay, now I get that.
So it reminds me playing hide and go seek in the dark with your friends, and as you're looking around, you can't see anything, right? So you're feeling around with your hands, but the more you feel around, the more likely you are to accidentally touch the person who's looking for you. So you're trying to like just barely feel around you, just enough so you don't accidentally touch something you don't want to touch. And that's essentially what this game is. You're going to put your hand on, so the person who's running it's going to put your hand on your piece, and you're going to literally feel like this. Okay, there's an open space in front of me. There's an open space to the side of me, open space here. And if you're here, you're like, oh, there's trees behind me. I can't go back. And you're relaying this information to everybody else, and they're trying to build this visual, this map in their head without actually being able to see it.
Which is incredibly hard.
Greg, did you just drop one of my pieces under the table?
I dropped a piece under the table.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll go get it.
Ask for you to retrieve that.
I'll be right back.
The big thing about this game is there's a lot of interplay with the villain. The villain is really like
God!
Wow.
Well,
the villain is really like the
did you find
game
that
master.
Twitter poll under there?
It was like a forest down there.
I'm sorry.
The villain is really like the game master in this. So part of it, what it discusses in the actual rulebook, you might actually, as the villain, want to have suboptimal play because it's all about building tension and making your players freak out and have a really good experience.
So these pieces fit together really well on here, actually.
Yeah, and they actually stack together, too, sideways.
Yeah.
Yeah. Andrew Warhol did that with, like, all of them. He was very obsessed.
The whole look is cool. Like I like
these
are like your hearts instead of like heart shaped.
And this is like $30 at Target.
Yeah, it was it was in that $30 range.
It's a pretty cool.
Okay, so for $30, with all these glasses and then these components and stuff, like what the hell? Like this is a good price.
Yeah,
for
it's a value.
this
For sure.
game.
It's not a vanilla game where like every player can do the same thing. Like
Wow.
players have different options. Like the navigator can look forward more. Like he can feel an extra space.
This is a one versus many. So
Yes.
I mean, you have one person that's going to run the game for a bunch of different people, which is kind of fun in a party game when you're trying to introduce people to new things and stuff. Because you usually end up having one person that's played before anyway.
Yes.
That's like runs everything anyway. So I kind of like the way that one versus many games work a lot of times.
Well, what's really interesting about this, I think we had the most fun having it explained to us after we were done. So
on like the step by step of what happened.
Yeah, so when I played the
recap.
vampire when I was done. So in my experience when I was playing the vampire, I ended up making one of the players touch me because I got close to him. He touched me and he freaked out. He's like, "Oh no, I touched the vampire." So all he's got to do now.
He was running things and he made us touch him a lot.
A lot. Wow.
In fact, I noticed there's a hole cut out in the board.
I'm sorry, they're like 12-year-olds today. I don't know what happened. This is not
I don't
overtly.
see anything in the rules about the popcorn
This game
trick, buddy.
is not overtly sexual. It's a really good game.
It is, yeah.
So they accidentally touched me, so they freaked out, right? Because now they know that if you get tagged twice, if you accidentally touch the vampire twice, like it's essentially encounter him twice, you die. So what happens is, as they were running away, they got so scared, they're like, well, let's throw rocks to try to throw the vampire off our trail. When they threw the rock, though, they beamed one of their own players and ended up killing that player, ending
awesome.
the scenario.
That's
So they were so scared, they ended up killing
They're
themselves
like, oh
to
my
get
God,
away.
rocks.
Yes.
Oh, dang it.
Well, what would you
Lost
do if
the
you were
game.
being chased by a vampire in the
and you're
woods?
I would not throw
Fuck
rocks
that.
at my
You're
friends,
like, rocks
sir.
everywhere.
I love the idea that you could blindly throw a rock in the woods and just happen to not only hit one of your friends, but kill them because you hit them so hard with that rock.
Yeah, you
What
guys
are
are
the
super
odds?
strong.
Yeah. Well,
But
Maybe-
that's the whole
maybe
idea of it.
you'll-
Is you're so surrounded by darkness, you don't know what you're doing, and
Okay,
you can
so-
accidentally hurt somebody.
I would love to see this played on stream.
yeah, you
Right,
guys
so
should
that
totally
was the
Twitch
thing.
this.
is
Yeah.
that Andrew Rubble took videos of this while
While
we were
you guys
playing
were
it.
playing it.
But
and
we
what
didn't
was
know he was
happening.
taking videos, so it was just all like racial slurs and
Those are videos we cannot post.
no, I'm just kidding. No, I'm kidding, of course.
100% not
But it was
true.
weird because we'd be talking about like random things,
Yeah,
like
we were
how was
talking-
work last week? You know,
And you're
It's
like-
There's a lot of talk about red vines and various. The kids were all there running around too and stuff. But it was a really unique experience being blind and then trying to
Yeah.
actually like get my kid food on the side while she's asking for candy.
seriously,
And
you hear your
playing.
kids fighting, you're like,
Take
cut it
these
out.
red
You're like,
vines.
you're looking in the wrong direction,
have to
Dad.
just
We're
yell at
playing
them.
games right now and you can't play.
But having the video, so what he did is we actually had somebody get to the thrall, and then what the vampire was able to do was actually move them. So he went from being in this space to over here, and so his mental map of knowing how to get back completely changed because all of a sudden now he was surrounded by trees that he had not encountered before.
And he's like, I don't know
So,
where I am,
yeah, and
guys.
we-
I need an
but
adult.
we didn't know that this happened, so nobody knew that this happened. The hunted players knew this happened, so we were freaking out like, why can't you just backtrack?
Yeah.
And he's
Yeah, why
like,
can't
Just
you
go
just-
back the way you
can't.
came, man. Come
and so
on.
we're yelling at him. We're like, you need to get back to the car with our
All I
friends.
can picture is like this happening in real life, and you're like, your one friend's lost. He's like, I don't know how I got here, man. You guys are like, dumbass, just get back to where you
Retrace your
came.
steps.
That's what happened.
If you don't, in this
I
case,
haven't
Oh my
talked
God.
to Alex since this game because of that. I
Well,
was so mad.
he had it coming.
Yeah. We should have thrown rocks at him
Oh
and
my
just rocked him to death.
Wow.
Okay, so
Stone him.
Stone him
you
to
like
death.
you like Nyctophobia then?
Yeah, no, it was
Yeah.
very unique. The first
It's
time we
aight.
played it, it
I'm
ended
just kidding.
fast. But
Yeah.
the more you played, I think the more interesting. And the
So-
theme, we turned the lights down. We got Alexa to play like some Halloween music. At first, it played Monster Mash, which was awkward. But then we got some spooky
Not the
forest.
Halloween
This
music
game
you're
is a
looking
graveyard
for.
smash.
Yeah, you want some spooky music.
Do
You
the
can play it by candlelight because only one player needs to be able to see the board. And the more you get
Well,
into
okay.
it, as you get behind somebody and you're like, You're getting close to the vampire. It gets very thematic.
Sexy. I mean, no. I mean,
That's one word for it.
okay, so Greg, you played the other one with the other bad guys in it. What other bad guys did you experience?
It was
with
like
and how did it differ?
It was the X-Men, right?
Like,
yeah,
maniac.
the hunter.
Yeah,
okay.
the hunter.
Okay.
So I think from the standpoint of the people with the glasses, it doesn't feel that much different.
Okay.
Right.
Because you're just trying to feel around and figure out your path. I think the
either way, you don't want to
variability.
encounter the bad
absolutely,
guy.
absolutely.
So that they all have that in common.
I think the variability comes from the person who's playing the villain and the cards that they have access to, the special abilities they have access to.
You are the story player when you're doing that. The storyteller.
If you had both copies, could you combine them together for one giant game with like
it's
8
hard
people?
enough.
I feel
it's
like
hard enough.
Is it really? Okay. Okay.
I don't know if people are actually beating it. We did not.
People are not beating this game. Okay.
I don't know.
We got close.
All right.
We got close, but we
stupid
also
Alex
still died.
couldn't find his way back in the woods.
Stupid Alex.
And by close,
what's wrong with you?
And by close, we'd all encountered the vampire at least once, I think, except for Greg.
And you come up and you touch him. You're like, oh my god, I touched a vampire,
Yes.
and you run
Well,
away.
that's what happens is you're feeling around on the board, and the vampire is like a smooth top. They all have different tops.
God.
Yeah,
and you can
he's a
feel
smooth top. So when you touch it, you're like, is that? Oh, it's just Greg. Or you go, oh crap, that's the vampire, and the vampire hurts you. He wounds you.
But you gotta love how they
that's
just
so
turned
funny.
a smooth plastic piece into like the most
Is this the
horrific
difference
thing
here?
that's ever happened to you.
These
Is
are
that
the
it?
different pieces. Yeah, these are players.
So everyone
though.
has their own like symbol.
So slot.
Like
You've
a
got the crown
triangle
top,
player.
the Phillips head.
Oh, okay. So everybody has a different one that you do.
So like
Okay.
when you're feeling
feel-
around, you're like this. Like I'll be here and I'll go, oh, and I'll be like, oh no, it's a smooth piece, but no, it's this is Greg. This is the slot.
This is the bad guy.
Greg
right?
is a giant slot.
Okay.
And you're feeling
Greg's
around.
a giant slot.
Yeah, he was the slot
Well,
actually when we played.
I mean,
but
No comment.
and you
Things
can
you find
yeah,
out.
and there's definitely a lot more to this game than what we just briefly covered because you can hide, you can throw rocks to distract the vampire because the vampire is going to follow noise over sight. So there's a lot to it. It's
this would be interesting.
it
to
was
play.
more fun than I thought it would be. I thought it might
Okay.
be a little gimmicky, but it ended up being a lot of fun.
I will say that play it a couple times because individual
Yes.
plays, the enjoyment will vary. I think that
Almost the bad guy determines how much fun it's going to be.
Yeah, I mean when we played at Gamma, when you had a chance to play it at Gamma, it was one of the main guys at Pandasaurus who was running it. So he did a really good job of like playing up the suspense and creeping us out.
Really?
And
Okay.
so that
And that,
added
was
to
in
the
a, and
experience.
that was in a noisy, loud environment. Think
It
about
was.
doing it in a
It
quiet
was.
home where it's like thematic.
But then one of the times that we played, it ended kind of quickly and stuff.
first time, yes.
So we sat up again, we played
The
again,
first
which
time
was
usually
fine.
ends pretty quickly
Yeah,
because you don't know what you're doing and you just finish faster than you expected.
And how many players does this go up to again? 5 players. Okay.
I believe it's
very
5.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, very cool.
Definitely
I'm
check it
excited.
out.
I'm excited to play more. Yeah, I want to
Support
play this. Yeah.
Pandasaurus. Support more local designers.
Yeah.
And yeah, definitely. It's definitely worth checking out for $30.
And a young
Right.
female designer too, and this is I
Yeah.
think this is her first design. I mean, she was like 17.
Yeah, she's very young.
when she was working on this thing. So it's fun to see like new up and coming designers. I'm really excited to see because she's clearly thinking outside the box. I'm really excited
absolutely.
to see
This
what
was an
she's
amazing
gonna,
idea.
Yeah, I'm clear.
Yeah.
I
The
want to know.
perspective she has based off her gameplay with games is
Yeah.
just different.
Right.
I want to
No,
see where she's
completely
going to go
different.
next.
That's so cool.
And it's an
All right.
accessible game. It's literally accessible for groups of people that normally might not get to play
That's
board games.
very true. So there's a bunch of people that probably don't get to play a certain type of
In
board
essence,
games.
I bet her
because of
uncle
that.
can beat it every time. 'Cause
Oh,
he can probably
maybe
build-
He has an
He
advantage,
probably has a
probably.
huge advantage
He
in
can
this game.
build-
He's like, I got this shit.
Based off how he lives his life, he could probably build the mental map easier than we can.
Whereas
Who
Much
used
for
to
easier.
me,
using our
it's
site.
so
Yeah.
hard. I'm in a corner. Wait, I think I'm in the same. Is this a new corner? No, it's the same corner. I don't know where I am,
Yeah,
guys.
he had a
I
tendency-
can't help you.
He
Sorry.
had a tendency to keep getting stuck in like corners and then like go back to him like 3 turns later.
Have you seen like a Roomba, the way it like vacuums,
Yeah.
it, like runs into like wall? That was me. I was like, I think I hit something.
That's how
I think
he
I hit
lives his
something.
life.
I think I hit
Well-
something.
Well, what else did we end up playing?
I ended up playing Illusion.
Dying to hear about this.
Yeah, Illusion.
This is a follow-up from the same company that The Mind, right?
That's right, by
The greatest
Nürnberger.
activity ever.
By Nürnberger
Oh, no.
Spielkarten Verlag.
Spindler around.
And it is for 8+, and it's for 2 to 5 players, and it's for about 15 minutes, which is pretty true. I mean, it was a very fast game to go through.
Okay.
And what you do is you have all of these cards that have colors arranged in like really weird patterns and formats or splotches or
Like a
letters.
Jackson Pollock
or
painting, right?
It really is. It's very odd.
You
I
find
mean,
out
and
a little bit about yourself by looking at it. Like, I see 2 butterflies. Like, oh, you crazy.
They do vary it quite a bit, where sometimes it's like
Box
words, or other times it's just blobs, or other times it's like it's a bunch of diamonds, but they're all colored different colors and stuff like that. And what you're trying to do is when you flip over a card, you put that card down, and like in timelines, the next card you flip over, you want to see if this card has less than or more of a certain color in it. Okay, so if we're doing red, because of course, why wouldn't we do red? You want to see, okay, does this have more red in it than the one that's down or less? And then you put that down, and then the next person can challenge you on it. And if they don't want to challenge, then they have to put the next card down. They look at that card and they go, well, where does this fit in the timeline? Does it fit in between, on the end, on the beginning? This was such an interesting game because I went into this thinking, okay, this is going to be like super simple. It's just colors, whatever. Like, this is going to be silly.
I don't even see color.
For a while, I was sitting there with a card in my hand. I'm like, oh my God, where does this go? I'm like, because it's varied by percentage.
Is there like a time limit, or can you just sit and ponder over where the card goes for?
So you can ponder. You can take your time and ponder.
But your seat is electrified, so if you take too long, you get
That's
shocked.
right. No, but a lot of times it's super easy where you're like, those first 3 or 4 cards that come down, you're like, yeah, we got this. And then like once you get to that 4th card, you're like, now we're having some problems. Okay. Now we're having some problems.
So it scales up kind of like with the mind where it gets harder like the further you go into it?
On the timeline.
The longer you play, the harder it gets.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's how it usually plays. I mean, you want lots of long play time, okay? So it was really interesting, first off, how accurate we were. Because there was a lot of times I was going down there and I was like, I got to challenge this because, like, there's some shenanigans happening here. And you start flipping them over. I'm like, oh, shit. Like, these are on point right now. And then you get to the last one. You're like, oh, thank God. Okay. All right. The last one didn't make it. But, like.
So it's competitive. It's not cooperative like the mind.
No. Okay. So
is it more bluffing then?
Here's what it is. No, there's no bluffing in it. You pick up a card, and it's going to be one of 3 colors, I think, of arrows. So it's like green, yellow, or red. And then you put that card down, and that's what the color we're going to talk about. So if it's a red arrow, that's the color we're going to do. And then we flip over one card, put it down. Okay, that starts it with however much red is on that card. Then the next player flips over another card, and then they put it down where they think it should go. If it's less red or more red than the card there.
Oh, okay.
And then when they put it down, I get to challenge that if I would like. And I say, I don't think you're right. And then at that point, they would flip over the cards. If they were wrong, then I would win that arrow, okay? And if they were right, then they would win that arrow. Okay. And then you're trying to win X amount of arrows, which I think is like 3.
Cool.
In order to win the game. But you can play this with a big group of people, I think I said 8. Yeah, or no, wait, 2 to 5 players.
Do you feel like there's enough colors and or enough cards that, like, if you played it a couple dozen times, I mean, would you start recognizing that card and going, oh, that's the 44% red card?
No.
It's so mixed up.
Not only are there's a decent amount of cards in there, so you have like about that stack of cards, but the cards are
40 cards or so.
Really, really make you think about what the color percentage is on there. Because you can't just look at the card and be like, oh, okay, that looks right. If we put the cards together, that looks like this one has more than that one. It's color percentage.
Right, like what percentage of the card is covered in red or blue or yellow.
Right,
okay.
So if you have a card that's heavy blue and pretty heavy red, where they're pretty equal and stuff, and other colors in there, it really varies what you're looking at. It's hard to get away from just looking at, okay, this has the majority and this has the majority. No, it's the percentage of it.
Okay.
On the card.
So overall, what was your thoughts on buying it? Would you buy it? Would you play it?
It's not a very expensive game, I imagine.
No, it's not a very expensive game.
It's like a little tiny box, same size as the Mind.
It's an excellent, fun party game that you would like get people to like start talking to each other and stuff in the game.
Right.
And it brings people together very well and stuff.
So unlike the Mind where you're silent.
Yeah, no. It's super great with like bringing people together and going, because like if you get something right or wrong, you're like, oh my God, there's always that like on every single hand, there's always that, oh, thank God I made this, or oh no, I can't believe this was wrong, it was so close. Or you're like 1 percentage point off or something. But for me, it was hard. It was so hard. Like, I don't know if I would play it again on my own, like to bring it out, because it was a freaking hard game to play. I had to really sit there and think about it.
But if it's hard for everybody, then that's the experience.
I think that's a good thing.
It was like stressful, like with my OCD, sort of like, oh my God, I need everything to be perfect, and like what percentage is this? Oh my God, I'm stressing out right now.
To me, that sounds fun. You're selling it to me because
it makes her more stressed.
No, because like the Mind is the same way. Like once you get a few levels in, you're like so invested.
It's very
getting those cards down in order.
You're playing the Mind, and you've got like 99, and you're like, and somebody else is holding holding back, and you're like, I have to have the last one, and they're like,
But maybe
I have to have the
don't.
last
Maybe they
one.
have the one
And
under.
you're staring each other down, and it's like, flip.
No, you're
just
really
made it.
selling
This
me
is
on
so
this
much
one.
more precise than the mine because you have your data there that you're going off of and stuff,
Right.
and you're playing against other players. So
This sounds more social.
it is. It was really good. It's a super good social game.
Simple to learn.
It's very good.
Tense.
It's very
social. You're selling me on it, man. I
Yeah.
want this game.
I'm not saying that I would never play it again. I'm just saying I wouldn't bring it to the table because panic level. Panic. I get panicked.
That's a whole different topic.
She's
That is.
sweating just.
I know. Just thinking about
just
it like
thinking
makes me
about it.
anxious. Like I'm like, oh my god. Like just thinking between those percentages and stuff.
So it sounds like it's very precise.
It is.
It's not like you're
Oh, yeah.
comparing 20 to 40. You're comparing like
No,
39% to
Some
like
of those
41%.
that we flipped over, it was like 17%, and I'm like, oh my god, oh, is this gonna miss? Is what's the next one? That's like 18%. I'm like, oh my
Wow.
god, and you're like, oh, how
Sounds
close
good.
was it to this next one? It's like 19%, and
Imagine
I'm like, oh my
designing
god.
this game and the precision you'd have to have with like
They
the
had
graphic
to have.
design.
Yeah, they had to have because it's like, and the varied pictures and stuff that you're using, it gets so hard to tell because like on one card you might see a little bit of yellow,
I wish I
but
would've
then
played that.
notice that the border of it is yellow, like a very thin border is yellow, and you're like, oh shit, I didn't even
Oh,
account for
so
that
they're
tiny
getting
little
tricky
yellow
with
border
it.
here,
Yeah.
and then the little blob over here, like. What percentage is this now? I can't compare a
sounds-
little tiny border.
I
on
want to
here.
get this because it sounds unique enough that like
Yeah.
it's not something that I like having games that are different.
I
Like
agree.
I don't want
I
agree.
18 zombie games.
Same thing with like Nyctophobia. Like
It's different.
Yeah.
even if you're like, well, I probably want to play this over and over and over and over again. It's just kind of cool to have because
In
it's
your
just
collection.
unique. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, agreed.
Yeah,
Well, what
no.
did you end up playing?
All right. So one of the games I've been playing recently quite a bit with my
Yeah,
wife
you have been playing this one a lot.
is Micropolis.
I had to unfollow you on
Yay.
Instagram because of all these pictures.
Aw, sadness.
Whatever.
I mean, that
This is
wasn't
such
why
an
I
adorable
followed you,
game.
but-
It's so adorable.
It's
So-
one of the reasons.
This is by
Do you want me to hold your
Madagot?
mic
Yeah,
for
this is
you?
Madagot, and this is Bruno Cathala and Charles. I always pronounce his name wrong. Charles Chevalier.
Yeah,
Oh, hey, I did pretty good.
Chevalier.
It's 2 to 6 players, 8 plus, like 30 minutes. It's very fast.
It is.
Um,
It's surprisingly very fast. This was one that ended like fast enough that I was like, oh dang, that's it.
and we got to play this one at like a BGG con a couple, or maybe it was it was BGG con a couple years back.
Yeah.
Bruno Cathala, we met up with him, and he was showing us some stuff, and this was one of the games that he was still working on at the time. And it's you have your own little ant colony, and it actually has
Looks
little
cute.
It actually has
Little army ants,
little
like
army
actual
ant
ants
minis,
in the army.
and they go into like little slots into your thing. But the way the mecanics work is you're gonna have
Do you
a
want to get ants? This is how you get ants.
yeah.
This
You
is
build them
how
a
you get
colony.
ants.
Yeah, exactly. Sploosh. So you have a row of these like pie-shaped, basically tiles that go around your sort of starter piece. It's actually oh crap! I had this
Your honeycomb?
decagon,
No. Yeah, I'd say so.
and
Let's not count it.
and
Okay, let it go.
let it go.
Let it go.
Let us live.
Okay.
It's 10, right?
Yeah,
That's a decagon, isn't it?
I think so.
Feel free to check on your Google machines, kids.
Google it up, man.
So there's like a row of these, and you can just take the one on the one end
More
for,
polyhedrals. Join us on.
for more geometry talk.
Glory Hound and polyhedrals.
Hi, I'm Isosceles. So there's a row of these tiles, and you can take like the one on the one end for free, or you can use your pieces to kind of dig down the row, like place them. Think of like Century Spice Road, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can
Where you're
place your
placing
tokens
pieces.
down to kind of dig for the one you want, and you're trying to build these interconnecting paths based off of like a whole score pad worth of different ways to score.
Right.
So it's
Okay.
like it's light and simple to learn, but it's like this big point salad game.
It really is.
And I say that as like a positive. I like
Right.
point salad games.
Yeah.
Kind of like Five Tribes, where it's like it's pretty
Yeah.
easy as far as what you
So I
can do,
would
but there's a
compare
bunch
this-
of different ways to score on it.
Well,
Because
and-
it's Bruno Cathala and it's fairly fast, I would put it in the same sort of bucket as like King Domino. But
Yeah.
like Stephanie, for instance, my wife, she likes this one better because there's more ways to score
On this one.
With
because
like
it's
King
a bunch of
Domino.
hungry little ants. She loves that.
Well, and
Well, and this
and
one's
it's
adorable.
Yes,
This one's
exactly.
adorable,
Got little
okay?
Lemon slices and
Yeah.
cherries that they're collecting.
So as you're going around, not only are you trying to get your queen, because it matters where you put these tiles. Not only are you trying to get your queen in the longest tunnel, but you're also trying to collect the different types of fruits in the tunnel, and you're also trying to collect the different types of ants in the tunnels.
Okay.
And so all these are different points that you're trying to collect on this, as well as
So it's easy mechanics, but it's
easy
got a lot
mechanics,
of
but it has a
are
lot of
very
depth
simple.
to
depth. The
it.
scoring is pretty
There's
high.
Right.
tons to think about, and because there's a whole row
Yeah.
of tiles to look at, you're constantly assessing.
And you're like, oh
reassessing
man,
what's
I
the
need a
best
queen.
tile.
And you're like, should I get this queen tile now? So you put your 3 ants down, you try to get your queen tile over here, and you put that
And then-
down,
and
but then
then
you have to
maybe-
build off of it. And then you can build either way around. So like
Yeah.
you can put one here and then build over here and then
It's
come back
about
and build over here.
It's about a 30-minute play.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fast.
It's super fast to play, and it's
And I like
so
that it
much
plays up
depth
to
for
6
such a
too.
quick little game,
Yeah.
really. Yeah.
I think if you
Yeah, I'm
like King
interested.
Domino, which is obviously a huge hit,
Yeah.
they keep coming out with expansions and other versions of it and stuff. You should totally try
And these
this.
ants are
Same
just so
designer.
stinking adorable because they have like little Roman costumes
yeah.
on, and they have these little like ant pinchers that are so cute.
They didn't have to go.
and like
this
they're
deep-
so freaking
this-
adorable for so tiny.
Yeah, the production value for such a small, quick game, I think they went. Oh, they outdid themselves. They didn't.
If
have
you
to
head
make it
over
this
to
nice.
my Instagram, I actually took pictures of this and the tiny ants because it's hard to get it zoomed
Yeah.
in on the camera here. But you can
I
go to
did the same
Instagram
thing.
at Gloryhound.
On,
Yeah,
on Instagram, I was like, I gotta get.
You have
I gotta
to.
get close-ups of these
you
cute little
have
ants.
to because the little ants. I don't know how they got such detail and such tiny,
Yeah.
tiny little minis for these guys. Okay.
Yeah, this is one you have to actually see to understand like how cool it looks.
Oh, absolutely. And
Yeah, so-
again, a great play. Like
Yeah.
it was so rewarding
Yeah.
going through and
We keep
playing
coming
and
back
building your
to it.
little ant colony is so cute and stuff, and all your little tunnels and making sure nothing's closed off and stuff.
The first time I played it, I was like, okay, I got to get this one, and so we have it now. And yeah, we're playing it a bunch, and it was fun because we got to see the early version of it. Like I said, a couple years back, and it was
Right.
fun to see. At that point, it was like paper and stuff, and
Yeah.
and it was fun to see.
Like most prototypes.
Yeah, it was fun to see
See
it
the
get
finished
fleshed out, see the
production
finished
copy.
production.
You like the
Of it.
fleshiness of it now.
Yeah.
I liked it. Now that it was more fleshed out, it was
it's
meatier.
flesh.
It's meaty.
I like it.
Got it.
It's yummy.
All right. Well, cool.
Micropolis, check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us today, guys. Make sure to check us out on Instagram, Twitter, at Gloryhound, all that business. Make sure to give us a thumbs up on this and
How do you feel about your
subscribe.
bell? What should they do with your bell?
Ring my
Subscribe.
bell, ring my bell.
And if you're on Instagram, definitely check
Okay.
out the hashtag Uninvited Gamers. It's where I'm posting the
Right.
majority of the games we play, so you
Yeah.
can see them.
We're going to be
in better detail
doing live games on Twitter on Wednesdays.
on Twitch.
Or, I'm
We're
sorry,
on
on
the
Twitch.
Gloryhound channel.
On Twitch, we're going to be doing that. Yeah. So
Any cool polls coming up? Like Twizzlers versus
we need to do some more
Ooh.
polls.
Red Vines?
Yeah.
It's Red
Which
Vines
one's
all the
better?
way.
Twizzlers, Red Vines. Tell us in the comments, Twizzlers or Red Vines.
I'll fight you. It's Red Vines.
If you say Twizzlers, you're wrong. You're
What about
That's
what
why
about
we're
black
married.
licorice? How do you feel about black licorice?
Oh, that's the devil's
fuck
candy.
black licorice. Okay, that shit is nasty.
I'm out.
Nasty.
I know. I'm like the last person on earth that likes black licorice.
You're gonna survive. You're gonna survive because that's gonna be the last thing left on the planet to eat after
What is
everything
it, like
is
the
done.
cockroach of candy?
That's
Oh,
right.
that's a good
right.
comparison.
The cockroach of candy, black licorice.
It'll last forever because nobody wants to touch
We
it.
just offended half of our viewers, maybe.
I think it's like the candy for 80-year-olds. I'm like the only 30-something-year-old that likes licorice.
30-something. I thought you were born in the 90s. It's like 98,
Allegedly.
right?
Greg, where can we check you at?
We put out a podcast too, my wife and I, Hooked on Geek. We talk about this game on episode 28, Micropolis, if you want to go check out like a little more in-depth review. But yeah, every Monday we put out a new episode. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook.
Well, and you guys are doing verses now.
Well, we did an episode. Yeah, we did an episode a couple weeks back where we did like these team-ups. So it's like battle of the deck builders with boards, or and my wife came up with these random things like battle of the games where the character on the front looks like a serial killer. You know, like which one do you think looks more? And it was like you'd think she'd pick like Fury of Dracula or Nyctophobia. No, she was
No.
picking like kids games.
Oh, that's
Like,
that's excellent.
I think the little
That's good
dog from
material.
Shiba Inu House is
Like
is
he's
evil.
murderous.
To be
You
fair,
can
though,
see
your
it
wife
right
is
in his
basically
eyes,
Miss
right in
Frizzle
his
from
eyes.
Magic School Bus, so
She
like, she's got
kinda
a different
is.
That's
perspective on
awesome.
the games.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, guys, and we will
Definitely.
talk to you later.
Thank you.
Bye bye.